it's now gone to both of us on Facebook.
All right, cool. So what I'm wanting is to get back to you. That's what I would like, if I can get back to you with Zoom.
Well, as far as I know, we're still talking on Zoom. It's just showing up on Facebook.
Yeah. And on my screen, it's Facebook. And I can't see you. So
you can't see me in Zoom?
no.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's Facebook, isn't it?
Because I'm still seeing you in Zoom. It says live on Facebook, but let's see, view stream.
But the talk. I mean, our talking though. It's not in line, is it? That's an old one. There we go. You see, yeah, I'm on Facebook. I can see us both, but we're out of sync. So what I'm going to try and do is go back. I want to see you. How do I do that? Oh, there we go. Right. Excellent. Okay, Brad, I have you here now, and we're obviously streaming in Facebook, but we're like 30 seconds after we've had our chat. But what the hell? So if anybody is there, we can't see you. We do have other devices here we're looking at, but I mean, like, come on, it's difficult enough getting us on here. So I think we'll just start.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm so excited. Totally. I mean, really, I am. If you'd watched my video, you would have seen me ants in my pants. Really, you are one of my EFT heroes. You really are. You're fabulous.
Thank you.
So, you're coming here in Edinburgh. That's fantastic. So, at this moment in time, you are in California.
I am. Sacramento, the capital of California.
Yes, and I was reading that you actually do go and do some visualization with the Sacramento drug rehabilitation place.
Yeah, well, it's several years ago now, but yes, for a number of years, I was on the faculty for Sacramento Drug Court, which is a court-mandated program for people coming out of prison for drug-related offenses.
Right. Excellent. Yeah. And was it just visualization? Did you do some tapping there as well?
Oh, primarily tapping.
Yeah.
I did a little bit, as I often do in workshops, I did a little bit of guided imagery, hypnosis, but it was primarily using tapping, using EFT as a tool for recovery.
Right. It reminds me, the film that Nick Ortners did, and in there is this little clip, and I keep remembering it, and I keep smiling, and I keep laughing, because you have been asked, does it work? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. And your expression was like, does it work? Does the sun come up every morning? So tell us, Brad, tell us a little bit about yourself, and how you got into this.
Yeah. So yeah, if it didn't work, I definitely would not have hundreds and hundreds of videos of myself on the internet tapping on my face just to, because people are a little critical of you when you do that. So I have to at least know that there's a benefit to it. And it's interesting because I'll have sometimes people will comment on a YouTube video and say, does it work? And it's like, read all of the comments down below where all these people have said, thank you so much. This is helping me so much. This has made such a difference. So rather than me telling you it works, look what all these other people have said. So yeah, how does a grown man find himself tapping on his face for a living? I actually started out as an actor. I had gotten my degree in drama, had joined a theater company and traveled around the world. And I had gone and I'd studied in London for 6 months during my college years.
Nice.
And after traveling around, I thought, I should go to Hollywood and be a movie star. So
Why not?
exactly, why
Quite
not?
fair.
And while I was there, I'm not a doctor, but I played one on TV on Days of Our Lives, and I met a woman, fell in love, got married, and when our first child was on the way, I thought maybe I should have a backup career. And so I trained as a hypnotherapist. I'd always been fascinated with the power of the mind and thought that would be an interesting thing to do. So I did that, and uh, so I started building a small practice on the side while still doing the acting. And after a couple of years, when our second child was on the way, I thought, as much as I love acting, doing this personal development work is really my calling. This is what I really feel I'm meant to be doing, is helping people clear their blocks
Mm.
and create the lives they really want. And feel better, do better, and live better. That's my catchphrase, says on my website.
Yep.
So I moved to we left Los Angeles, moved to Northern California, and through some other hypnotherapists, I found out about tapping. Took a one-day training with Gary Craig, the founder of EFT,
Mm-hmm.
and just fell in love with it. Especially,
Mm.
one of the things that really sold it for me was he passed around Hershey's Kisses and had everyone, rate their desire for that chocolate on a scale of 0 to 10. And
Uh-huh.
I was a bit of a chocoholic, and I was about an 8 or a 9. And after a few minutes of tapping, I couldn't eat it.
Well,
I could have just as easily eaten the foil wrapper as the chocolate.
gee,
And
fantastic.
I didn't eat chocolate for 2 years after that. And I didn't know at the time, but I could tell that something had definitely shifted. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then that whole weekend was pretty amazing. The next day, I met Carol Look, who's been a friend of mine now for almost 20 years. Didn't know who she was at that time because I didn't know anything about EFT. But yeah, so I little by little started to introduce tapping into my hypnotherapy sessions.
Mm.
And then little by little, they became tapping sessions with a little bit of hypnosis at the end. And I think I was one of the early folks using the internet for it. YouTube came along,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I was the first person to create a tapping video on YouTube, but I may have been. I wasn't aware of anyone else doing it, and I just thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a video that people could start their day with, and I'll call it Tap of the Morning. And that was all I ever intended to do, was that one video. And then about 6 months later, I had an idea for another video. And I thought, I should have Tap of the Evening so people could end their day.
Mm.
And I had another idea, and now I've got like 850 plus videos.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
here we are.
So, acting, when doing tapping, it is kind of acting, isn't it? Because you feel, when you're working with someone, you can feel what they're going through, and you're there with them, being with them, and that makes it spectacular.
Yeah.
So, for anybody who actually doesn't know what EFT or tapping is, do you want to give a tiny demonstration?
Sure, absolutely. Oops, I was trying to hold on one moment. I was trying to do something technical here. Should
Oh,
never try to, walk and talk at the same time. I was trying to make sure that I had the let folks on my Facebook page know about this, because I'd shared the original, the first one that we ended.
played with. Yes.
So okay.
Is it working? Have you got your page working?
Yes, all good.
Cool,
All
good.
good.
Right. Okay.
So
Well, I'm ready.
so anyone, if who somehow happened to come upon this Facebook Live and doesn't know what tapping is, or EFT, emotional freedom technique. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways called meridians. And when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. And when this energy gets stuck, we don't feel so good. And when we don't feel so good, we don't think so well. And the prefrontal cortex, our rational, creative mind, goes offline. And that leads to unfortunate choices in all areas of our lives. So using this tapping process, instead of using needles, as in traditional Chinese medicine, we're just using our fingertips to tap on these points. And that allows the energy to flow more easily, more naturally. We prefrontal cortex comes back online. We clear out stress, and we have scientific evidence showing that stress is being cleared almost more quickly than anything else. And it's naturally, so you're not using a tranquilizer that has all kinds of other side effects. So it's just a very, if you thought of it as nothing else, you just think of it as a stress relief technique. But when you consider that most, if not all, of our issues are either caused by or at least worsened by stress, then you can understand why a simple stress relief technique like this would be beneficial in so many areas of our lives. So certainly when we're feeling emotional distress, or feeling angry or upset about something, to be able to just gently tap on these points and clear that out so that we can feel more calm, we can think more clearly, we can make better choices, we can find better solutions to what's going on. We can do that with things happening in the present. We can do that with things that have happened in the past, but where we're still feeling the emotional charge, so we can bring it to mind and clear out stuff from decades ago. But we can also look at it for different areas of our lives. So say finances. If we want to improve our financial situation, someone might say,
we all do.
Yeah, how on earth would tapping on your face help my finances? Well, because your financial status is dependent upon your choices. Are you doing the things you can do? Are you misusing your money? Are you not making the amount of money that you could be making? You're making all of those choices based on emotional reactions and old memories and beliefs that stop you from doing things differently. And we have a financial thermostat, an idea of what feels safe for us to have. So we might consciously complain about the amount of money we have, but unconsciously we're going, all right, all good. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. We're exactly having the kind of money that I've learned it's safe for me to have. So when we just say, I want to make more money, there's a stress response that goes on inside our brain, and that shuts us down. It stops us from doing things that can create more money.
Wow.
So if only we had something that could clear that stress. So that's what we're doing, is we tap to clear the stress response around money, and then we have freedom to take different actions, to make those phone calls, to do the different things that will lead to greater financial abundance. That's why tapping helps with that.
Nice. And it's simple, isn't it? So if somebody was feeling really stressed, they've got their bills coming in and they haven't got enough money coming in, and they're feeling all this horrible tension, and their stomach is churning and they're running away to the loo, and all those feelings, what could they do with tapping?
Yeah, and certainly you could, in that moment that you're feeling that stress, you could just start tapping without saying anything, because just the simple process of tapping is going to lower your stress.
Amazing.
And then you can think more clearly and you can come up with better solutions. You can certainly go on YouTube and find one of my 800 plus videos, because I have a video on paying bills and the stress that comes with that. I have quite a few videos on money issues. So that's certainly something you can do. You can come to my live workshop in Edinburgh on September 11th.
Speaking of which, tell us all about it, Brad.
So I've had a great time doing live events this year. I just got back from Los Angeles. I did one this weekend. And on Monday, I fly to Moscow to do my first workshops in Russia. Moscow and St. Petersburg. And then from there, I go to, so that's September 1st, August 31st, September 1st. I will fly to London and do another workshop there. I go back to London every 2 years, and I've been doing so for a decade. So, if you're closer to London, I'll be there September 7th. And you can go to tapwithbrad.com/events and find all those. So I'll be in London on September 7th. Then I'll be heading up to Edinburgh and be there on September 11th, on the
Yeah.
evening of Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then from there, zip over to Dublin and do a workshop there on September 14th.
Nice one.
Then I come home and then I go to Canada and
oh,
all
and
kinds of things.
do you do your world tours every couple of years?
Well, I do tours. I do events every year in different parts of usually in different parts of the country, and sometimes different parts of the world. I was in Australia last year. I did a workshop on the Mediterranean last year. Started the year in Paris. So I get around. It'll be interesting. This one in Moscow will be the first time I've done a live event with a translator. So
yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the workshop in Edinburgh, because that's what
That's where I'm going to see you.
You are absolutely, and there's no way you're not going to see me. Sorry. So it's for 2 hours. It's 7 o'clock till 9. What is going to happen? What do we do?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out, won't it?
It certainly will.
And I mean, I say that somewhat facetiously, but in my live events, I don't have a script that I work with. It's not like other live events where you come and, we're going to do this and then this and then this, and we're going to talk about this. I'm going to come in and it'll be up to the group. I will have folks look at what they want to create in their lives and what stops them. And then the entire evening will be taking suggestions from the audience as to what are the blocks. And then I'll just be creating tapping rounds on the fly based off of what's going on for folks in the room.
So it's a kind of a workshop, isn't it? Where we're all learning and do it and playing. And I read as well, that it's only going to be a minimum of 4. It's not going to be a massive room full of people, because that's not what you want. And what you've just mentioned there about us working and doing our tapping and things, and we know if you're an EFT practitioner or you've actually worked with someone doing EFT, these emotions that can come up. Yeah. So for us to actually be working and to keep the numbers small, we need that security. We need that safeness.
And so we'll have at present. So the room in Edinburgh holds 70, and we're almost sold out. So that's a nice group. In London, we have almost 150, which is still not the largest workshop I've done there, but it's still, we are able to create a level of intimacy, because I'm not yet doing stadiums. Now I do have on my vision board the Royal Albert Hall, which holds over 5,000 people. So I am looking forward to doing that at some point, because it's regardless of the size of the group, there's still there's a different energy. It's always the right number of people, whether it's 200 people or 5 people. It's always we attract the right group. We show up in the right place with the right number of people, and and regardless, when I'm doing a workshop, I'm only going to be able to take only so many suggestions from so many people. So whether that's half the audience or a fraction of the audience, it really doesn't matter. It's still going to be. I always trust that the right subjects are going to come up for the particular group that's there. Mm-hmm. I turn that over to the universe. Like, okay, you tell me how many people you want to show up. Mm-hmm. You tell me what subjects you want to come up, and I'm going to let the work happen through me as best as I can. And I'm going to show up and let it happen.
Yeah. I think that's one of the bonuses of working with energy, which is what EFT tapping is to trust in the universe, to trust in where we are, how we live, and not to get too worked up about it. I mean, getting the Zoom and everything else today, I mean, there were moments that I thought, I can't do this. And so I went some tapping, and I went along to the beach, and I walked in the water and everything, and it brought me right down. And it's like, you know, what happens is that you just think to yourself, well, whatever, you know, it's not the end of the world. And that's what tapping does.
Yeah. I can't get upset enough about a problem to make it better. That's the thing, is that we often think we do, and it's not because we're bad or stupid. It's because we have programming telling us that if it's not a problem, I may not be motivated to do something about it. You know, if I'm not getting upset about the technicalities, then I may just say, oh, well, so I'm not going to have the Facebook Live. No big deal. I won't have a chance to be of service to people. Oh, well. And that's not it.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not that without, you know, so I call that being motivated by misery. This belief that, you know, when things are painful and when it hurts, then I'll take action. Yes, that's true. We do take action when things hurt, but we don't need to do it that way. There are much healthier, more enjoyable ways of being motivated, and just saying, oh, I'm just excited to have this happen. And so I'm going to make it happen out of a sense of excitement and a sense of wanting to be of service and a sense of joy, as opposed to that, oh, well, it's just, I'm so upset about this that I'm going to make it happen.
Oh, well, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. No.
Yeah. And we've learned it from people. We see these people, you know, throughout our lives, we've seen people using anger and guilt and all these different things. And we haven't seen them lead happy, healthy lives, but we never think, oh, well, that didn't work for them. Because as we learn most of this stuff as small children, where we don't have that filter, and we just go, oh, you know, it's not like we watch our parents and say, okay, that's walking. All right, I'll do that. Yes. This is talking. Okay, I'll do this. This is dealing with money in an angry way. Yeah, I think I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
We don't have that ability. We just go, okay, money is something to be angry about, you know, or whatever.
And we continue, as you say, with the same pattern.
Yeah.
So, but by carrying out tapping, it breaks that pattern.
It does. It breaks because we have certain ways of thinking, and then we get into that groove, and we keep doing that, and it's challenging to get out of it, because when we try to make a change, there is a stress response. And so when we have a way of dealing with the stress, that's when we have the ability to shift out of that and make different changes.
Yeah, and you don't even need to understand how it works. That's the great thing about it, just to know to do it. So, Brad, could you show us just a couple of rounds, just for anybody who, you know, they've seen you tapping and they're going, well, what's he doing? You know, is it just there, sort of thing? You know, what's going on here? And, you know, how can that work? Like, come on. But just show us just a couple of rounds, so that, you know, anybody might be able to, if they want any questions, they can pop it in the comments. I mean, you're willing to help anybody. I'm willing to help anyone to get further. And of course, come to the event and you'll really, really fly. So how about just a little demo?
Absolutely. I'd love to. Thank you.
Good.
So everyone go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. And now, just breathing comfortably, I want you to think about something that you want in your life, something you'd like to be different. Something that you could actually do something about, whether it's improving your health or improving your finances or changing your career. Something that you could do something about, thinking about the actions that you could take. You know, and maybe you stop yourself from taking actions. Maybe you stop yourself from even thinking about what actions you could take, and say, I stop myself. And just allow yourself to be aware, on a scale of 0 to 10, how true that feels. Notice what physical sensations might come up. What do you feel physically? What do you feel emotionally? And take another deep breath and open your eyes. Just allowing yourself to be aware of what thoughts, beliefs, and memories might contribute to these reasons why you stop yourself. Just tap where I tap, and So Lindsay, if you'll be my echo voice and just repeat back what I say, and then everyone else, just go ahead and repeat what I say along with Lindsay and just tap where we tap. Even though I sometimes stop myself,
Even though I sometimes stop myself,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I sometimes stop myself,
Even though I sometimes stop myself,
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
Even though I sometimes stop myself,
Even though I sometimes stop myself,
because there are things that I want,
because there are things that I want,
things that I probably could have.
things that I probably could have.
There are things I would need to do to get them,
There are things that I would need to do to get them,
and I'm not always doing those.
and I'm not always doing those.
And if I'm honest with myself,
And if I'm honest with myself,
it's me stopping myself.
it's me stopping myself.
And even though I sometimes stop myself,
And even though I sometimes stop myself,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself,
love, honor, and accept myself.
and maybe anyone else involved in this.
And maybe anyone else involved in this.
Okay, just tapping here at the beginning of your eyebrow. All these ways I stop myself.
All these ways I stop myself.
And right here at the corner of your eye, all these ways I stop myself.
All these ways I stop myself.
Right under the middle of your eye, there are things that I could do
There are things that I can do
that could create change in my life.
that could create change in my life.
I could create positive changes in my life.
I could create positive changes in my life.
And right here where your collarbones just about come together, you can go ahead and make a fist. There are a lot of different things I could do.
There are a lot of different things I could do.
About 4 inches below your armpit. But I'm not always doing those.
But I'm not always doing those.
Sometimes I know what I could do.
Sometimes I know what I could do.
And I stop myself.
And I stop myself.
And sometimes I stop myself.
And sometimes I stop myself.
From even figuring out what I could do.
From even figuring out what I can do.
I just don't know what to do.
I just don't know what to do.
I could easily go on Google.
I could easily go on Google.
And find lots of answers about what to do.
And find lots of answers about what to do.
So I stop myself from even going on Google.
So I stop myself from even going on Google.
And it's not because I'm bad or stupid.
And it's not because I'm bad or stupid.
It's not because I'm weak or lazy.
It's not because I'm weak or lazy.
It's because I'm brilliantly trying to protect myself.
It's because I'm brilliantly trying to protect myself.
Because part of me says, if we didn't stop ourselves,
if we didn't stop ourselves,
but actually took the action and created change, I could get myself into all kinds of trouble. There are all kinds of consequences for taking action. And I'm afraid that I couldn't handle them. I'm afraid I couldn't be healthier. I couldn't handle the consequences. I couldn't handle the consequences of having more money.
I couldn't handle the consequences of handling more money.
Part of me says it would be more trouble than it's worth. And so I brilliantly stop myself. And then sometimes I beat myself up for that. I can't believe I'm so stupid.
I can't believe I am so stupid.
I make so many mistakes around money. Or around my eating. Or whatever else it might be. But self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. Every time I stop myself, it's because part of me believes it's not safe to move forward. So I choose to stop beating myself up. But even beating myself up is brilliant. Because all the time I spend calling myself stupid is time that I can't take action to move forward.
It's time that I can't take action to move forward.
I'm brilliantly wasting time beating myself up
I'm brilliantly wasting time beating myself up
so that I can stay safely in my comfort zone.
so that I can stay safely in my comfort zone.
And I choose to love and appreciate those parts of me
And I choose to love and appreciate those parts of me
that are just trying to take care of me.
that's just trying to take care of me.
And I choose to change my mind.
And I choose to change my mind.
I can handle the changes.
I can handle the changes.
So it's safe to take action.
So it's safe to take action.
Clearing this need to stop myself.
I'm clearing this need to stop myself.
I'm setting myself free to move forward.
I'm setting myself free to move forward.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. Just close your eyes for a moment and just go inside and allow yourself to feel what's going on in there. And think again about some of these actions that you could take that could make a difference in your life, and see if there's more freedom. Maybe even say, I'm going to get that done this week, and just see if how comfortable that might feel. And you might have other ideas that come up that might require some additional tapping. But hopefully it feels safer to make positive changes in your life. And you can take another deep breath and open your eyes if you like. So so at my live events, that's what we do pretty much the whole time. Is we do a lot of tapping, and it can be a little tiring, but it's really good to just clear that stuff out and just letting go of as many blocks as possible, so that by the time we walk out of that room, there's so much greater opening to make changes, to take action, and to create the life we really want without the old fears and blocks that used to stop us.
Oh, wow. Yeah. When we were tapping there, and what came up, and I have to say, I've never really thought about it, was when you said it was about money and about how, if I have too much, I might do things that I shouldn't do it. And what came straight into my head, my mind, was my mother saying something to me, because as I got older, she wanted to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out clubbing and all. Well, not clubbing. Didn't have clubs in my age, in my town. We had discotheques. That's what we had. Not even discos, but discotheques. But so I used to sneak off to them. But things that she would love to have done, and I was doing, and yet she would say to me, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing that." That's what's the matter.
Yep.
Wow, fantastic. Oh, Brad, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. Well, thank you. I'm so happy we managed to get talking to each other, and I've met you face to face, and I can't wait until you actually come to Edinburgh.
I'm looking forward to it. I love Edinburgh. Yeah. It's one of my favorite cities. I just love that everywhere you go, you just turn and look, and there's this castle up on a hill in the middle of the city.
I know. It's fabulous. Yeah. And the atmosphere, there's something about Edinburgh. It's just, very few cities have that. York has it. But Edinburgh, you go there, and it's just like coming home. It's beautiful.
Literally, I have two brother-in-laws who are both from Edinburgh. So we've imported some Scotsmen, yes.
Oh, and will you be staying with them, or do they still live in Edinburgh?
No, they live now with my sisters here in the US.
Ah.
So.
Right. Oh, so it'll be a bit like you coming home as well, because you'll know all about it with your brother-in-laws.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to come to the event, I'll pop the link in the comments box. And also everything else that Brad's up to. Any questions that anybody wants? Is there anything come up on here? I can't see anybody asking any questions. I don't know. Can you see anything there, Brad?
A few people have made some comments, but no questions.
Comments, yeah. It's not even coming up. Comments. In fact, on mine, we've only got 9 people watching us. I'm sure there's more than 9. Because I put you out and me out everywhere. They'll be so sick. I tell you, they'll be going, "Oh my God, it's not her again." So that's what we'll do.
It depends on what else is on television right now in Edinburgh.
Oh, How dare they? I really think we're important. I really do. We are important people.
Even though people are watching Real Housewives of Edinburgh right now, instead of being on our Facebook Live.
Yeah, I don't care. I really don't care. It's fine.
Nah,
Don't mind.
they'll watch it later.
They will.
Well, whatever time you get to this video, welcome.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and fabulous. And Brad, I just love you so much. Love you in a sisterly kind of way. I better say that just in case your wife's
my wife will be happy to hear that, and she's not allowed to come with me.
Oh, that's a shame.
No, I shouldn't say that. I don't mean to say that she's not allowed to come. She was with me the last time I was in Edinburgh, but her other work engagements kept her from being able to make this particular trip.
What happens? Yeah.
She'll be there the next time.
Right. Well, I'm going to love you, leave you, and everybody else who's watching. And thank you so much. I really appreciate this, Brad.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for hosting me on this. I always love chances to meet folks and to share these tapping rounds with folks and just putting more of it out there. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right then. Okay. Bye for now.